Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over another big lake effect event for portions of the Northeast. We're going to be going over how much snowfall you could be seeing with this big event. Some of the snowfall could be making its way fairly far to the south and to the east. It might even reach parts of the coastal Northeast as well as portions of the southern Great Lakes and even portions of the Ohio Valley. So we have a lot to talk about. If it does reach the coast, it is most likely not going to stick, but maybe you could see a couple of flakes. It is going to be very windy over the next 2 or 3 days, and that is going to be basically the biggest driver for this big lake effect event. We're going to be timing it out. We'll also be giving you my personal snowfall forecast for this event. This is going to be a mixture of two different storms, one that's moving through right now, another one that'll be moving out of Minnesota and North Dakota. That'll be making its way further to the south and to the east, and that'll really start driving the lake effect to parts of the Northeast and the Great Lakes. So let's start getting right into it here with your current National Weather Service page. In the lighter brown, that's almost a tan color, that's where you're looking at wind advisories, and that is over much of the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, even getting into the Midwest, down through the Tennessee Valley, and even into portions of the Mid-Atlantic and interior Northeast. We also see some dense fog advisories for portions of California and Georgia. We see red flag warnings in effect also for Kansas and Colorado. We also have some high wind warnings in effect for portions of Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and parts of upstate New York, as well as another area for portions of Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado, with high wind watches in Oregon and California there. And then we also see some winter weather advisories in effect for portions of Oregon, Idaho, Utah, and Wyoming, as well as another area in northern Maine, as well as northwestern Wisconsin there, where you also have some more winter weather advisories from this storm. So here would be the GFS model, then we'll look at the European model, and then we'll look at how much snowfall both of those are showing, and then we'll look at my personal snowfall forecast. So we see a line of storms that's going to be moving through portions of the interior Northeast and then eventually pushing its way to the coastal Northeast. That line of thunderstorms will be producing some very high wind gusts over these areas when it does move through. We're going to be seeing, this would be by this point, this would be in Central Time, this would be right around noon today, so in a couple hours, less than an hour from when you're watching this video most likely. So this might have already happened depending on exactly when you're watching this video, but we would have been seeing snowfall for portions of Michigan and Wisconsin, with mainly some heavier rains as you get further to the east. So basically around the low pressure and eastward of there, you're going to be seeing some of that heavier rainfall. Now, this is not the big thing that we want to talk about, but it's going to be important because it's going to drive through those winds. And notice where these winds are blowing from. Once this front passes, you're going to get out of this southwesterly flow, and you're going to end up going into a northwesterly wind flow, which is going to drive your winds over the Great Lakes. Your Great Lakes are very, very warm. The water temperatures are in the 50s and 60s, so that when that cold air goes over the Great Lakes, it can make some snow showers quite easily. So when that wind switches over to the northwest, you will start to get lake effect pretty much immediately after that front goes by. So let's play this through. We're already seeing some effects of lake effect over western Michigan, where the storm is basically through. You might even see a rumble or two of thunder with this band of snow that's moving, or this band of heavy rain that's moving through. Again, snow is going to be on the southwestern side of the storm relative to what we're speaking about, where portions of Michigan, northern Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan might be getting into some snow, while portions in Ontario, Canada might still be in the rain. It's all going to be because of the dynamics of this system, and you're starting to see that shift over to the west, where you're seeing those winds now coming out of the west for some portions of the Northeast, and then all of your winds are from the west for the most part once we get to right around midnight tonight. So we're dealing with some snow showers generally moving through portions of the Great Lakes, but what we want to look at now is this system up here in North Dakota. That's going to be diving to the south, and it looks like a very weak system, doesn't even look like a system, but that's going to be helping your lake effect machines really start to get going. You need some sort of moisture to get some of that lake effect, and this is going to be exactly what you need. Just some little system that won't bring your temperatures up quite a bit. They'll just kind of keep your temperatures the same, but you're going to get a little bounce of energy through the Great Lakes, and that'll really help your lake effect machines start to get going. So let's play this through. We're dealing with scattered snow and rain showers as we get to Monday morning, and then through the day on Monday those snow showers are going to continue. Your system is now by this point in central Michigan, and it's about to cross over about Lake Erie in that general area, and then by this point this is when your winds are really going to start to pick up and you're going to start to see more lake effect. So let's zoom in on the Northeast. By this point, just scattered showers of rain and snow moving through upstate New York and Pennsylvania, and then it really starts to get going where you get a flow out of the northwest. So your lake effect bands are going to be setting up somewhat like this. So you will be seeing some snow showers generally moving through the interior and northeast, and it's really going to depend on how strong these winds are, how far south these bands of lake effect do get. So you can get some lake effect bands that move off of Lake Erie or off of the Great Lakes and move all the way south and eastward to the coastal northeast. That has happened before, and it looks like this might be a situation where that happens again. So here would be by Tuesday right around noontime, 1 p.m. Eastern time by this point, and we're looking at generally some scattered and pretty much widespread snow showers by this point over western Pennsylvania, West Virginia, into upstate New York, and then generally some areas in Ohio and parts of Michigan there, and then scattered through northern New England as well. We're dealing with those showers getting a little bit more scattered as we go through the day on Tuesday, and then by Wednesday it's pretty much all dissipating by that point. Now here's what the European model is showing. So this would be within basically an hour from when I'm recording this video, and we're dealing with that rain moving through the Ohio Valley, snow as you get further to the north, and let's play this through. So here would be by right around 6 p.m. tonight Central Time, and we're dealing with most of that snow for portions of Michigan and Wisconsin, as well as some of that scattered rain and potentially thunderstorm activity moving through portions of the Northeast by that point. And then as we continue forward, you start to see scattered snow showers and a little bit more rural areas and wooded areas, especially where you can get a little bit colder than the surrounding regions, might start to get into some mixing and maybe even some snow by this point. As we start to get to Monday, as you're waking up by this point, this will be right around 7 in the morning Eastern time. We're dealing with generally just scattered snow and rain showers. But look at what's happening out in Minnesota. You can barely pick it up on your screen, but that's your system coming out of North Dakota and Minnesota that'll be driving your big lake effect event through portions of the interior and northeast that might get to the coastal northeast. And we'll talk about that in greater detail. And by the way, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even into Thursday, and maybe even into Friday, it's going to be very, very cold, and you might have temperatures down into the 20s, teens, and even single digits or below zero in some of these regions. So definitely will be cold enough. It's just how far south do these lake effect bands actually get, and when exactly does that occur? If it occurs at night, it'll of course be colder, and it might be able to support some snow along the coastal northeast. If this happens in the middle of the day, we're not going to see snow if you're in parts of the coastal northeast. It'll be too warm, but areas in the interior northeast will still get some snow as well as portion in the Great Lakes. Now, here would be by Monday around noon, as we're starting to get to Monday evening, and then as we're getting to Tuesday morning, early in the morning, right around midnight, we're looking at scattered snow and rain showers. That wind has really picked up, and it's now moving off the Great Lakes again out of the northwest, so your winds are much stronger by this point. This would be by Tuesday, and then as we're getting to Tuesday, right around 7 in the morning or so, we're dealing with more of that widespread snow and rain shower activity through much of central and western Pennsylvania, as well as portions of western upstate New York. As we get to, let's move over to the northeast view of this, and it gets really widespread in the form of rain and snow showers. If you get a little bit of elevation, or you get away from really the bigger cities where you can get a little bit warmer, you will most likely be in snow for these regions, especially if you live in the interior northeast from West Virginia north and eastward into Vermont and New Hampshire. And then as we continue forward, we are looking at some of those showers getting closer to the coast. So if these are showers getting this far to the coast, I do think these will be in the form of either mixing or snow, because I think by this point, this is 6 p.m., so the sun has already set. It will be a very chilly day on Wednesday. As we get to Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, it'll be very chilly. So I think you might be below 32 degrees, or at least 33 or 34 degrees. You could be seeing snow by this point if you do see showers set up in this region. I don't think the model is gonna output that, but I do think you could see some showers. If the showers make it all the way to the coastal northeast, this will most likely be in the form of snow by that point. And then as we continue, you start to see some mixing and snow showers getting fairly far to the south and east, but mainly the big lake effect event is all said and done with by that point. Here would be your snowfall totals from the European model, looking at the northeast view of this, and we're looking at generally a coating to a couple of inches in some of those higher elevated regions, and some of those bands of lake effect might also get entrained in that as well. Here would be your view of the Great Lakes, and we're looking at generally, again, an inch and a coating to maybe 2 or 3, 4, 5 inches in some isolated locations. Now, here would be what the GFS is showing, and it's fairly similar actually to what the European model is showing, so there's not a lot of discrepancy here. The big discrepancy is actually in parts of the Great Lakes, where the European model wants to drive up a lot more snow in these regions, and I do think that's the case. I think you'll get maybe an inch or two more than what the GFS is outputting right here. So here would be your maximum wind gust for this through the next about 108 hours, and this is going through Thursday morning. We're looking at in knots a gust up to about 50 knots, and so you would probably have to add about 10 or 15 miles per 10 or 15 to that to get your correct miles per hour. So this might be gusts up to 60 miles per hour in some scenarios. That is very, very strong, and you can really tell where these storms are moving through. You had a line of storms that kind of moved through here. You would be most likely seeing your gustiest winds with that line of storms, but generally it'll stay fairly windy all the way until about Wednesday or Thursday. So here's my personal forecast for this event. This is going from the 15th to the 18th. Under an inch of snowfall as you get through portions of the interior northeast and back through the northern Great Lakes and into the upper Midwest. This is where I think you might get under an inch of accumulation. Areas outside of this region might see flakes, but I don't think it'll accumulate to too much because of just how warm it has been previously. I don't think the atmosphere will have enough time to really cool down to get any accumulation. Now, 1 to 3 inches of snowfall in this darker blue shade, and that's for much of the upper Great Lakes in through portions of West Virginia, western Maryland, and southwestern Pennsylvania, as well as another area for northern Pennsylvania and southern upstate New York, another area for the Adirondacks, and then one more region for northern New England, where I think especially as you get a little bit of elevation, you could pump out a little bit more snowfall. And then 3 to 6 inches of snowfall, and this is added on to what already has fallen for some of these regions for portions of the upper peninsula of Michigan, as well as portions of northeastern Minnesota, and another area for portions of northwestern Pennsylvania, southwestern upstate New York, as well as another region for the Adirondacks, and one more region for the northern New England region. And then I just want to point out that flakes are possible within these regions, so you might see a couple of showers get all the way down to these areas. So I don't think you'll get too much accumulation, maybe a dusting if anything, but it is certainly possible, and I just wanted to point out you guys might see snowfall if you live within this region. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.